Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are going to take a look at the update that came for the Demonic Threat Garlic Jr. Attacks event. So this event got its update that was supposed to be with part 2 of the last event, but instead was pushed to the beginning of this campaign. So it's a little bit strange, but anyway, so this got an update. A couple new stages were added in, 5 new stages to be exact, and we get the Awakening medals for Piccolo from stage 8 and stage 10. We also have a nice new way to farm a Icarus from stage 6. We also have a couple missions here, just completing all of them on Z Hard, all of them on normal, and Dokkan Awakening Piccolo, which are all pretty straightforward, to be honest with you. As always, of course, there is a bonus for this, and it is the Heavenly Events category. So you can pick up your Heavenly Events characters that we had from the last video, which will be down in the description below, and we'll be able to take a look realistically at which teams we can put together, and we'll finally be able to also Dokkan Awaken our Piccolo unit. Now Piccolo Dokkan Awakens into Piccolo and Krillin, and they're a pretty decent card. We'll take a look at them later, of course, because obviously they're actually a very solid option, and we'll even do a review on them. But it's important to note that you do not need to farm any more additional copies of Piccolo. So if you have Piccolo, if he has his hidden potential piles open, and if he has his SA at 10, you do not need to farm any more copies of him. His EZA is nowhere in sight. Their EZA is not currently out. There's no EZA planned for them or anything like that. So currently you do not need to do any more work for that unit. So if you are currently just like wondering whether you should farm him more or what you need to do, you do not need to farm any more units of Piccolo. Obviously the event carries on the story of Garlic Jr., kind of, I guess, progressing from where the movie ended, which was stage 5, and moving into where the filler arc from the anime begins. In this first round where you can farm Icarus, we take on the Spice Boys, which, you know, people don't, yeah, well, basically the Spice Boys is what they're called: vinegar, salt, sugar, and all the boys. So yeah, basically in terms of just this stage specifically, obviously it's a great way to farm an Icarus. For those of you who don't know, Icarus is a 35% damage reduction item that lasts for 2 turns. It's basically a slightly worse version of Whis, which is a 40% damage reduction item. Overall, it's a pretty good item to use, especially for the first couple SBR, for standard SBR, for things like LGE, not the LGE GT so much, but even then you can use it. I mean, depending on how strong your team is, you can still pretty much use an Icarus in like any content you want to use an Icarus in. Obviously you can pick up an Icarus from the Bubba shop, so it's not entirely necessary to relentlessly farm Icarus from this stage. But if you are running low on Icarus or Whis, and you're looking for an alternative item, you can use this stage to farm him. So that is one benefit of this stage. Obviously also having 5 new stages added does really help us out, because it gives us 1 stone per stage, which is always pretty damn cool to get. So yeah, we'll continue on to the next stage. Just remember, when you get to stage 8 and 10, that you can use an Oolong item or the new Bulla and Vegeta item. Remember, Oolong will increase your bonus chance from your category bonus by 50%, and Bulla and Vegeta will increase it by 85%. Obviously Bulla and Vegeta cost 100 blue film, whereas Oolong only costs 70 red film. So you can use either or both if you want to increase your farming rate of the medals. Overall, I don't think it's entirely necessary. It just depends on what your bonus is looking like from Heavenly Events category units. Obviously, we've tried to load our team with as many free-to-play options as possible, in the form of Goku and Gohan, Vegeta and Trunks, You can use the Piccolo himself, the 2 units from the Majin Buu saga, you know, in the form of the physical Goku and the strength Goten. So we have tried to create a bonus out of free-to-play units, but obviously you want to use your highest rarity possible. And even then, if you just don't like farming, using those support items or those support memories will help you, you know, just alleviate that need to farm. So you can do that. Of course, we come to stage 8. That is where the Piccolo medal drops. So Piccolo needs 10 of each medal, 10 of Piccolo and 10 of, you know, Garlic Jr. So you're going to need to farm 10 of those. It didn't take me very long at all. It literally took 3 attempts of the stage, so it really wasn't that bad. You can use, of course, boosts as well if you are struggling to get the unit. So of course you can use boosts, you can use items like that to or boosts along with support memories to kind of augment your farming rates quite severely, and those should help you farm the medals even if you're really struggling to put together a team that has an adequate level of boost. So yeah, they've given us a lot of options now to help increase our drop chance of medals and just rewards in general, and they really help us to kind of increase the rates at which we gather rewards, especially for those kind of people who only want to play Dokkan for a short time each day. You know, popping a support memory where you'll get the film back, popping a boost will really help you cut down on the time you need to play the game for. If you don't want to farm, or if you're busy, and those always do help. So yeah, but we'll come to stage 9. Nothing really special about this stage. Obviously just wrapping up the Garlic Jr. and Gohan arc, so to say, of the story. Obviously, you know, just ending up the anime filler arc, essentially, where Garlic Jr. comes out to fight against Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan, and then obviously Kami and Mr. Popo are locked away in the Wicked Demon Water, and you know, all of that's currently going on in the anime at this point, which, you know, was a cool arc for me. I enjoyed watching it at the time, didn't realize it was filler as a child, and then you look back and you realize it is. But I mean, filler arcs are okay, I don't really mind too much. Gohan getting the business done and having another little kind of moment was never really a bad thing for me, so yeah, I've never really had an issue with this. Obviously Garlic Jr. talking about the Makio star, you know, not to be mixed up with the Spaghetti star, which Cooler uses. This is the Makio star, which increases demonic power tenfold. So yeah, and then Gohan's gonna beat him and lock him into the dead zone. It'd be really cool if they brought like Garlic Jr. back somehow for like Super or something, I don't know. Just, you know, since they brought Broly into the fold, maybe they can bring back Garlic Jr., have him be like, I don't know, a rival, or even just like an alternative villain for even just Kid Trunks and, you know, Goten at this point, like for a side arc or a story there or something. Doesn't have to be anything major, but just, you know, would be an interesting, nice little way to give them some time to shine. Maybe Goku and Vegeta are off somewhere, and, you know, Trunks and Goten have to defend everyone. It's just something to be aware of. But anyway, obviously moving on to the final stage here. This is where you pick up the Garlic Jr. medal. So you're going to need to obviously want to farm this. Well, you need to farm this. You may not want to farm this. But yeah, obviously you can just kind of go pick this up. Again, also didn't have to do it too many times, about 3 attempts, and then everything was all like ready to go and perfectly fine. For you guys it might be different. For some people they might use a boost and get it all in one go. For other people they might be struggling a bit more, it might take 5 or 6 attempts. It's just going to depend on what you have in your box and what you're using at the time. That's really going to determine how successful you're going to be with this farm and everything like that. I do suggest obviously farming and awakening Piccolo into Piccolo and Krillin. Not only are they a great heavenly support category, or heavenly events category support, but they're actually a pretty useful card for joined forces with linking up with some of the other options that are there on the team. So yeah, I think they're a good card, and it's always nice to get these kind of like, I don't know, these improved units, I want to say. So yeah, definitely a nice option to get, definitely well worth the farm. You can see if we go to the missions, we've now completed every stage on Z hard. Please remember to go and do all the stages on normal difficulty so you can get all your stones back and get the bonus stones from the reward. You'll see Piccolos here, and obviously 10 medals of each, as we've mentioned before. He will turn into Piccolo and Krillin, which is obviously a very groovy card. And they have attack and defense of 100%, an additional attack and defense of 100% when Gohan Kid is on the team, plus an additional attack and defense of 100%, and they can see enemies' attacks when Gohan Kid is in the same turn. So it's pretty nuts. That whole passive is pretty insane. Obviously it has quite the heavy conditions, and they're really designed to work alongside Gohan, but it's not really the biggest issue, so I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. But that's about it from the event. So go out, farm your Krillin and your Krillin and Piccolo, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know in the comments what you think about them, what you think about the event, but as always, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. But until then, bye!